Hello, hello, hello. So today I kind of want to go over different types of yarns and threads and fun stuff. And this is why I love crochet so much, is it's so versatile and you can use just about anything to crochet with. So I kind of wanted to kind of show you some of the options and different things that you could use and what you would use them for. And I'll just start from right to left and then cover some other odds and ends of things. So this skein of yarn and this skein of yarn are both what they call worsted weight yarn. Worsted weight yarn, and okay, let me get the, and of course it's upside down. I apologize. I will get my stuff together. This is Red Heart Super Saver Jumbo. I do like Red Heart for a lot of projects. Some people think that it feels a little rough, but once you wash it and put it through the dryer, it softens up really nice, but I don't mind it, and some people don't like it. But just work with different types and see how you feel. Typically every skein of yarn like this comes with a pattern. So this one comes with a nice little Afghan pattern, and it's inside, so you have to take the sleeve off to get to the pattern, and you got to be careful about taking the sleeve apart because you might rip where the pattern has instructions. Let me get a little closer here so you can see. Redheart.com does have some free patterns. Go out and check them out. They do have some really cool free patterns. So if we scroll around here, and this tells you the color, the lot number, if it has one, and the scan code. And then this is new. This piece here, they tell you there is an end on the outside and an end on the inside. And I can't tell you how satisfying it is, and I keep saying this in my videos, how satisfying it is to pull these things from the middle, because then your yarn doesn't roll around and you're not chasing it across the living room as you're crocheting. And this one I did get to pull from the middle, and as you can see, I've been using it for different projects, so it's a little floppy. So, but then as you use it up, course, and this is like a huge skein of yarn. So one other thing that I do want to point out is, let's see, this one doesn't have a dye lot. Okay, so this tells you this is a medium size yarn, size 4 yarn. This is your standard worsted weight yarn. That's why it's called worsted weight. It's like a size 4. I don't know why they use the word worsted, but maybe I can look that up at a later time. And then it gives you guides, like a typical swatch that you would crochet, and it's in inches and centimeters, and like how many single crochets per row. So a swatch of this would typically, with an eye hook, 12 single crochets across 15 rows, would give you a 4-inch by 4-inch square or a 10 by 10 centimeter square. And then it gives you the gauge in knitting as well. So if you're a knitter, it gives you more information there on the swatch that typically comes out of this type of yarn. And then this over here gives you the guides on how to wash it. Do not use acrylic yarn for anything that is going to be touching heat, like a hot pad or something like that. Acrylic yarn is basically small little fibers of plastic, and they're so fine you can't even tell they're plastic. So if you put heat to this yarn, it's gonna melt. So that's what this is, this acrylic yarn. And it'll tell you here, this is 100% acrylic and in different languages. Machine wash and dry. There is more information on the back of this label on how to take care of this yarn. This has no dye lot. So this is Super Saver Jumbo. Oh, here it is. This is one thing that I did want to show you as well. Every label should tell you the ounces of yarn. So you should know like how many ounces or what the weight of the skein is, or approximately how many yards is in there. There is a calculator, and I don't know exactly what it is. I'm sure you could Google it, that tells you like how many yards or like how many ounces of yarn do you need to make a particular project. Or if you have a pattern that says use however many grams or however much yarn, then you can kind of convert it and see like how many skeins of this do you need to be able to make your project. I highly, highly, highly recommend buying all of these skeins at the same time for your project. Overestimate, because if you have to go back to the store and purchase more yarn, 9 times out of 10 you're not going to get the same color, even if you purchase the same dye lot. Sometimes they might be a little lighter, sometimes they might be a little darker, and depending upon like if it's black especially and whites, there's different shades of them, and you won't even know until you bring it home and start crocheting, and then it's like a slightly different shade. Even if you take like a piece of the yarn, like you cut off a piece and then you hold it up to the skein, it might look like it's the same shade, but it may not be. So highly, highly recommend always buying them all together. If you're buying online, sometimes you may not get the same dye lots, so you just have to keep that in mind as well. And then potentially use it for a different project or what have you. So this one, I have used the crap out of this one. It's almost dead, but this is also a skein of Red Heart worsted weight yarn that I use quite a bit, especially around Christmas time, because I like this green. But that's those types of yarn. That's worsted weight yarn. Now we're going to move over here, and this is crochet thread. Now this thread is just what it says, is thread. So let me pull this close here so you can see. Literally tiny, tiny thread. You use this typically to make doilies, and there's some doily patterns in this skein on the label here. So this again is Red Heart, and there's all different types and all different brands. Play with them. There's a bunch of them at the dollar store as well. I keep seeing people, and I've actually purchased some from the dollar store too, and they do have some pretty nice yarns and threads there. So this is crochet thread, and I use these to make like Christmas doilies and 4th of July doilies and different things like that. You can also use them to make like placemats or table runners, different things. Now the difference between this one and this one is not only just the thickness, but this is 100% cotton. Something that you need to take into consideration when you're crocheting. There's all different types of crochet yarn and thread, and they're all made from all different types of things. There's alpaca yarn, there's wool yarn, there's this cotton, there's acrylic, there's nylon, there's all different types. And just play with them. Look at them, order some and make a small little project. Just crochet like a little heart or a granny square and see how it works out. But this is 100% cotton, tells you how much is in this. This is a size 10. So there are like size 20. The bigger the number, I believe, the smaller the thread. So like a size 5 would be thicker than this one. And then this tells you like what size hook you should use, so size 7. Now in my previous videos, remember, crochet hooks come in letters and numbers. So the letters are typically for the bigger yarn, the numbers are typically for the smaller yarn. So this is a size 7 or 1.5 millimeter. So depending upon what country you're in or what types of hooks you buy and what's labeled on your hook. They even tell you here, buy enough thread to complete your project, because the same thing with this color, if you need more than one ball of yarn, You may not be able to get the same dye lot, and it may be just like a slightly different shade of the color you're looking for. So, and then again, it tells you how to care for it. Cotton, I put in the dryer. It says wash gentle, cycle, warm water, no bleach, rinse well, promptly remove and roll in a towel. Honestly, I am not that gentle with my projects. I just toss it in the washer with all my towels and then throw it in the dryer, and it turns out just fine. And it's actually super soft. So then this tells you the name, and doesn't look like this has a lot number either. I think they started removing lot numbers from the yarns just because people were trying to get the same lot numbers and they couldn't. So they just kind of made batches of them, and they're not lot numbering them anymore. And then just some more information about the yarn itself on this label. And again, the pattern on the inside. So these make up really nice if you want to be adventurous and crochet with some small yarn. Now, that being said, you can also, this is DMC embroidery thread. It is the same thickness. Let me see if I can find the end. The same thickness as the size 10 crochet thread. It's just not twisted as tightly. So this is used, and I do some embroidery once in a while, so I have a ton of this stuff. And once in a while, if I want to make like a small little heart or the middle of a granny square or something like that, then I'll grab this, because these come in a plethora of colors. They're just tons and tons of colors. And then it has the color number there. So the DMCs come in color numbers. But you can crochet with just about anything. But let's move on. I don't want to make this too long. I could go on and on all day about yarn because I just love it. Anyway, this is one, push this back so I have some room. This is one that I have recently been using because I just fell in love with it. If you can see, it's fuzzy and it is so soft. You know how when you touch something and it's so soft, you don't even feel like you're touching anything? That's what this yarn is like. This is Yarnspirations Karen Latte Cakes. And there's some colors they don't make anymore. And this might be one of them. I think this is buttercream or something like that. Oh, lemon sponge. This might be a newer one. But anyway, Yarnspirations makes some really, really nice yarns. So let's just go around this label and take a look and see what's on here. This is equivalent to 3 balls of yarn, or no, sorry. This pattern takes 3 balls of yarn. So you'll need to know like how many balls of yarn you're going to need for your pattern. So this pattern is on the inside of this, and I'll take this off and show you just so you can see what it looks like. But this pattern will need 3 balls of yarn. So when you're buying it and you see the pattern on there and you're like, oh, that scarf is really pretty. It actually is really pretty, and made with this, oh my God, it'd be so soft. So you would need to buy 3 balls of yarn to make this scarf. And it looks like the striping in here works with the striping on the scarf. So it's specifically, this pattern is specifically made for this ball of yarn. And that's so pretty. Looks like colors of like a sunflower or something. Anyway, so free pattern on label, crisscross knit scarf. You'll see this once in a while also. So this tells you the how hard is the pattern to make. So if all of these bars are filled in, it's a very intricate and difficult pattern for someone who's been crocheting like forever. One bar is like beginner, very, very, very new. 2 bar is you've crocheted a few things and are comfortable with the basic stitches, and so now you can move on to more intricate stitches. 3 bars is you've done a few intricate stitches and you want to learn some more, and you know, there's some fun new stitches in there. And then again, 4 is like you can crochet anything with your eyes closed. Anyway, Yarnspirations has some amazing free patterns. Go check them out. They're so much fun, and a lot of stuff for the home, a lot of wearables, lots and lots and lots of things. So this is company information, and of course the scan thing, the color, number. Okay, here's where we get into the meat and potatoes. This is a bulky yarn, a size 5 bulky yarn. Do you see that? Yeah. Okay. So 5 means it's thicker than the acrylic yarn. And I don't know if I can find the center. I don't know if I'm brave enough to try right now, because I don't want this cake to fall apart. But maybe we can pull up one little, find it here. So if I pull that up compared to this, it's a little bit thicker and a little bit fuzzier. It's pulled tight, so because this is pulled tight in here, but it's a bit bulkier, which means you're going to use a bigger hook. Okay, so the bigger the yarn, the bigger the hook. The smaller the yarn, the smaller the hook. Then it gives you your information for knitting, crochet, and again your swatch and how big your swatch should be, with the hook size K. Washing instructions. It's machine washable, dryable. Now this is like half and half, acrylic and nylon. Probably why it's so soft, because nylon is very, very soft. So this is a combination of those, so keep that in mind when you're making things. This is definitely not a hot pad kind of yarn. You definitely don't want to use this for hot pads. Perfect for scarves, hats, gloves, things like that. And again, it gives you the information on how much yarn is in this skein. This is part of their lovely layers collection, and you can search Karen Cakes on their social media. So let's take this label off. Just slide it off really quick. And if you look at the labels, you'll see that it's like glued. And if you just kind of pull a little bit at the glue, it'll start to come apart. And you got to be a little careful, because you don't want to mess up the pattern, and especially this pattern, because I think I might want to make this scarf. Honestly, it's really pretty. I don't care if I mess up this. I just don't want to mess up that. And I could probably cut it, but anyway. So if we take a look at the inside, it's a crisscross knit scarf. And I'll go over reading patterns later. So this tells you, oh, I got some holes in there. So tells you all the information you need, the instructions, the fringe, and this is in a different language. So that's nice that they put them in different languages. So, you know, we can share crochet across many different cultures. And every pattern will have abbreviations, and we'll go over this in another session as well. So here's abbreviations that they've used in this pattern. So C4B, C4F, and then for the other languages, care instructions, additional care instructions. So that's what is typically on the back of a label. And then I have just like a binder that I put these in, like a little sleeve, so that I can see, oh, well, here's another pattern, and I don't have to worry about like writing it down or anything. Okay, moving on to the next one. This one is fun, fun, fun. This is Loops and Threads. Loops and Threads has a ton of yarn, and it's fun so much. This yarn is so much fun. This is Fun Fur. So let's see if you can see it here. And it has like a core in it, similar to what this feels like inside, but it's fur. So I have some amigurumi, is that how you say it? Um, items that I make. And whenever I crochet it and I'm done and I want to add some fur, then I just slip stitch this fur on the outside of it, and it looks like it's fuzzy and furry, and it's so soft. Again, this is softer than this cake over here. It's just like super soft, and I always want to pet it, and I just want to like rub it on my face, and it's just absolutely, oh, just love it. So if we look at this label, let me see if I can get it here. This is super bulky. So this is like super big. You will need to use a much larger hook. This says an 8mm US 11. That I'll have to look at my hooks to see what letter that translates to. But we'll talk about hooks in another video as well, just because I want to get through this. Tells you how to take care of it, machine wash cold and dry flat. I would not put this in the dryer. I would air dry this, just because the dryer might like pull that fur out, and the washer might, which is why it says wash on cold, but I would say wash it with like delicates or something. But this is faux fur, tells you how much is in it. These would make like amazing gloves as well. Look at that Afghan. Could you imagine? Oh gosh, an Afghan with this. Now I have a new project. See, I have so many projects going that I can't keep up with them all. And this one has free patterns as well. Loops and Threads has some really good patterns. So this is another type of yarn that you can use. And then we have eyelash yarn. If anyone has ever crocheted with eyelash yarn, let me know. It is absolutely the bane of my existence, but it turns out so freaking cute. It is really difficult to crochet with, just because like the eyelash pieces get in the way. So if you can see this, it looks like a little braided piece, like a bunch of braided threads in there with a bunch of this eyelash stuff coming off. And it just, believe it or not, it's a little difficult to crochet with. It's like crocheting with crochet thread. So a lot of people use it with like a regular worsted weight yarn, and they'll put it together and then they'll crochet together, just so that they have a little bit of substance there, but you still get the effect of the eyelash yarn. Or you can crochet with the eyelash yarn and see how it works out. But this is, I did get this on clearance at Hobby Lobby. This is Yarn Bee Gilt Eyelash Star Ruby. And then there's a scarf there. I don't know how I would like that. It is pretty soft. It doesn't look like it would be, but it is pretty soft. So the free pattern is on the label for this scarf again. And this gives you a lot number. This is Star Ruby. And more information on it. So here's the guts of the label. So this is your gauge, 16 single crochet, US 10.5 or 7.5 millimeter. So it gives you US sizes and UK sizes. So this is kind of a smaller yarn. This doesn't give you, oh, here we go. Isn't that funny? It's labeled under 5 bulky. I don't know how it could be labeled under bulky because this is so tiny. But it is. So that's what it is. This is polyester and metallic, kind of like a plastic metallic. So absolutely would not wash this in the washer. I would only hand wash this at all. I mean, it says hand wash, no heat whatsoever, because it's got that plastic metallic stuff in it. There's only 3 ounces in here, but there's quite a bit actually. So this is another type of yarn that you can use. This would be really cute if you were making like, I make like little yip yips. Wouldn't that be cute? And one of these little yip yips and make this fuzzy, a fuzzy little yip yip. Anyway, so this type of, this is a fun little yarn. I did make a purse out of something like this before, and it turned out really, really nice. Looked like a fuzzy little purse. But you can also crochet with other things like rope. Some people crochet with rope. Some people crochet with t-shirts if you rip them in strips. Some people crochet with other types of material. You rip them in strips and tie them together, and you can crochet like rugs or even a jacket or whatever else, baskets and different things. So there's so many things that you can do with yarn. So many different types of yarns. So much out there. Explore, have fun, and I hope you have a happy crochet day.